Hey, what's up guys? This is Rudy from Pro Civic. Today we're going to walk you through the basics of installing this TRM spoiler. It's a pretty neat piece, although it does require a bit of knowledge in body work, painting, and it will require a bit of drilling. So even though it's a pretty straightforward install, you might want to leave it to the professionals, but we wanted to make this video to show you guys if it's something you're willing to do, or maybe show it to your body shop and see if it's something that they can tackle. Overall, it's pretty simple. We will be drilling a few holes on our trunk to mount up, or for the mounting bolts. Also, there may be a third brake light hole that you need to fill in for some vehicles that have the spoiler on them. We provide these with these optional stickers just to give it a nice little accent there. But these do not come painted. So you would need to have this painted, and again, any body shop should be able to do that for you. But if you want to finalize the installation yourself, it's pretty easy to do. So I'm going to walk you through those steps, and I hope you're going to enjoy this video. Definitely, I'm hoping it'll answer any questions you may have before you make your purchase for one of these. Or if you already did, I hope you learn a little bit about installing the spoiler yourself. All right, so the first thing we're going to want to do is remove this trunk liner here. You're just going to pop off 10 of these little push clips. You can use like a non-marring trim tool, or maybe some trim pliers, anything like that. We have one last push clip here. It's actually has like a Phillips head driver on it. You're going to go ahead and unscrew that. You don't want to put a lot of pressure on it, because the way it locks itself in place is with pressure. You would push that screw back in. So if you're trying to unscrew it and putting a lot of pressure up at the same time, it's not going to move. So you want to lightly unscrew that. So now that we removed the liner, these two bolts here are actually exposed even with the liner on, but we needed to take it off in order to get to two clips. There's going to be one on either side, in here and right in there. They're like a white clip. They have a kind of a step to them in the plastic that'll kind of squeeze out and hold the spoiler in place. Now those are a little bit tricky to get off. And at the same time, while you're undoing those, you're gonna wanna like squeeze in something to wedge the spoiler off of the trunk, because there's some adhesive on here. The spoiler isn't held on just by adhesive. It's really there to prevent any kind of moisture or water to get in here. But it does also hold the spoiler in place. So you wanna use maybe some shop towels, or if you have one of these plastic wedges, just kind of jam it in there to prevent the clip from popping back on. And these are 10mm hex heads. And just to give you a better idea of what we're looking at, this clip here, you can see there's a little tab at the top of it, kind of sticking out. There's also going to be one at the bottom. So probably with like a long skinny screwdriver like this, or an angled pick, you'll be able to break those loose. And keep in mind, at the same time, you want to kind of pry open the spoiler. Now you can leave a nut in place here just to kind of prevent it from completely falling off on you. It really won't happen, only because of that adhesive that's already on here. It'll really hold it in place. But yeah, I'll just show you how to take off this clip. It's pretty straightforward. And since we're already here, this here is the connector for the third brake light. You're just gonna push up on this little tab, and it'll come loose. So now that both the clips are released, you can see I have just some standard towels holding the spoiler up so that way as I'm trying to remove this spoiler, those clips aren't going to pop back in. I did leave some of the nuts in place here, but you could just go ahead and start prying away at this. Now you do want to use something that doesn't, isn't going to scratch up the paint. You could also use, a shop towel, anything like that, because there's going to be some adhesive. On this side, seems like, yeah, usually you might get one side that's not stuck very well. This side is actually very loose. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and, do the other side. Now there is going to be the wiring that goes up to the third brake light. It's just, held on with a rubber boot. So you're just going to wiggle that out to pull out the harness. So now that we have the spoiler taken off, there is going to be a little bit of residue from the double-sided tape. There's a special tool you can use. It's like an eraser wheel for drill bits and stuff, and it'll take this stuff right off. But since there was very little of this residue left over, we're just going to use a little bit of rubbing alcohol and a blue shop towel just to clean it up. Now that the trunk is pretty much prepped, aside from drilling the mounting holes that we're going to have to drill, we're going to start with the assembly of the spoiler. Now I just want to lay out the hardware that you're going to be using. It's all included with the wing. Starting off over here, these little screws, they're a little bit different from these other ones that are over here. Not only are they a longer length, but they're actually a little bit smaller in diameter. These are going to be used for your kind of the beauty covers or plates that are going to go underneath the spoiler, and they're going to kind of hide these brackets away from view. So those two screws are just for that, those little covers there. We have the brackets. These attach to the side mounts, and it's going to connect that to the main kind of mid section of the spoiler. You're going to use a bunch of these little screws here. These are going to go onto the initial assembly of the spoiler, holding down these brackets and everything. And then finally, you're going to use 4 of these longer, kind of beefier bolts. They're actually the same diameter as these, but these are going to go underneath. Once you have the holes drilled and everything, these will hold the spoiler in place on your trunk. So again, these 2 longer screws are for your beauty covers or plates. These are the brackets that hold everything together, and these are the bolts you're going to use with the brackets. Assembling this spoiler is pretty straightforward. You're going to take either one of these brackets here, and you're going to start off with one of these screws. Now we're going to attach this to the side of it. We're going to put a screw through each of these holes on the side here. Oops. And this plate down here, you're going to have it facing down. You do not want to install it facing up. It just won't work. It's not the way it's meant to be for this case. So yeah, pretty much just grab this, thread it on here. And we're going to do the same to the other side. So now that we have these brackets installed, we could go ahead and start with the mid section. Now, you might want to have to do this a few times, especially before you have this painted, only because there is some wiggle room, and that'll allow you to line everything up as neatly as possible. So you might have to, kind of tighten this up a little bit, snug it up, bolt everything together, and make a few adjustments, kind of grabbing the 2 pieces here and seeing how you want to tighten it, how you want everything to line up. But same idea, we're going to use 2 screws on either side and just tighten them up, and we'll be ready to start mucking up the spoiler. To help us with drilling the holes properly on the spoiler, I went ahead and prepped this kind of weather stripping or trim here. It comes with the spoiler, and we're going to use this as a template to help you know, guide us and drill the holes properly. You see here I attached some standard painter's tape or masking tape, and the way you want to do this is you want to make it easy enough to take off of the spoiler. So on this black side that's going to be facing the trunk once everything's installed, I just laid down some quick tape on the edges here, just 2 little pieces. On the other side, I laid down enough to where once I stick the spoiler on, I can adhere this to the trunk and it'll stay put. So yeah, pretty simple to do. You just put this back on here once you have your tape located. And you're ready to apply this onto your trunk, and you'll see exactly where you need to drill your holes. So now that we have the templates on here, we could go ahead and locate it on our trunk, lay it down, and lay down the weather stripping or the padding here underneath onto the trunk as a template. Now, before you do any drilling, now that you have this kind of mounted up, you want to make sure it's not going to fall on you, first of all, but you also want to make sure that it's properly aligned. You might want to take a step back, make sure it's centered like you want it. You might even want to get technical with it and, you know, do some measurements here, but you want to make sure it's properly centered before you remove the spoiler and start drilling your holes. So now that you have the templates on here, you can go ahead and start drilling your holes. I located just a standard towel underneath here to make sure that it'll catch any kind of debris, leave less of a mess. To start off, you do want to use probably a center punch to make sure your hole is going to be dead center to where you want it. And I'm going to start off with I believe this is a 1/8 inch drill bit, just to use as a pilot hole, and then I'm going to move up to a 5/16. I'm going to do that for all 4 holes. Should be pretty straightforward. You just want to make sure you don't go too far. There is, you know, that second piece of sheet metal down below for the body here. Now that I finished our pilot holes here, I went ahead and removed the template, only because this drill bit that we're going to be using is a fairly large size. It's almost the same diameter as what is on the weather stripping there. So you don't want to ruin that. That's why we removed it. And also, one thing I forgot to mention in the last step, which isn't really anything to be too worried about, the weather stripping for the trunk or the seal does come across here, but it's actually about 1.5 inches, maybe 1.75 inches in from the edge of the trunk. So you shouldn't be too worried about having to drill these holes and damage the weather stripping. But let's go ahead and use our 5/16 bit here and drill these holes out. So now that you finished drilling all your holes and you cleaned off all the metal shavings there, I went ahead and applied the adhesive that we use as a template. You just want to make sure it lines up properly, line up the holes and line up the edges here. I did find on one of them I had to trim it just a little bit towards the bottom. Not a big deal. But one other thing to keep in mind is I did leave this cap off, which I'm going to install later. The reason for that is you might want to come back and kind of loosen up some of these screws and brackets to realign the center section of the spoiler in case anything moved on you, or in case you didn't like the way the lines kind of matched up. You'll be able to just quickly disassemble it while the bases are still on the trunk, and put everything back on. Now these screws that we're going to use to attach the spoiler to the trunk, I went ahead and put a few down right where the weather stripping sits on the edges. That way I'm not kind of screwing around trying to find these screws, as I have the spoiler on the trunk there. Less risk of this falling off. But we're pretty much ready to install this, and it should be pretty straightforward. So we're pretty much at the final step of installing our spoiler. Aside from putting the trunk liner back on, all the stuff you took off there, all the clips and everything. Last thing is we're going to put these little kind of beauty caps or covers that go underneath here. They're going to kind of cover the view of the hardware brackets that are in here. You could have these painted also. They're a nice little plastic piece, pretty durable. They are labeled left hand and right hand, so you can't really get them mixed up. They drop right in. They use the two of the little kind of longer, skinnier screws compared to the rest of the hardware. So you'll be able to see exactly what screws you need to use. So we'll just screw them on and pretty much complete our install. So that pretty much does it for the installation of this spoiler here. Overall, it was a lot of fun to do. If you're not too scared of drilling holes on your brand new Civic, it's definitely a fun little project. Maybe it won't even take you a day really. The longest step is probably going to be to have this painted and also get this hole filled like I mentioned earlier. We're just going to use some kind of a metal kind of Bondo filler that we're going to kind of cover this hole up with, paint match it, buff it out. Should be good to go. Overall, it's a very easy project. You end up with a car that's going to look pretty badass. And again, if you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. Make sure to like our videos and subscribe, and check out our website, procivic.com. Thanks again.